Hey there folks, my name is Torinski and welcome back to another DCSS Sunday. Today we're of course jumping right back into the usual routine, trying to get a win with every deity in the game. And where we last left off, we'd unfortunately gotten our very promising Dragon Ogre killed in Slime. It's becoming a bit of a habit of mine to lose characters there these days. And then we fooled around a little bit with our Rage Cat, unfortunately. Didn't really go anywhere, but it was a good run at things anyway with Trog. So today, we're left with a bit of a blank slate, ready to take off in whichever direction we'd like, and I'm thinking we'll go back to Djinni. It's been a little while now since we did a Djinni run, and maybe this time, to make it slightly different than it has been previously, we won't run solely McLeb Djinnis into the dirt. In fact, I'm debating starting off with Ignis. I don't have much experience with Ignis since they were added to the game, so I think it'd be fun. But hey, who knows what the dungeon has in store, so without further ado, let's just get ready to hop right into it, shall we? Djinni, of course. Hey, save it time for the Master Magician, Djinni. Love it, love it. Always appreciate the name suggestions. It helps me when I'm not feeling quite so creative on that side of things. But yeah, do we start off with Cinder Acolyte? Acolyte? I think I would say Acolyte, but now all semblance of language has completely disappeared from my head. So let's try it out, shall we? So we'll pop in here with this good old son of a gun, and long blades, short blades, doesn't really matter. We'll hopefully not have to rely on this too long. But we'll see how it goes here. Yes, we can be Djinni. Thank you, Save It. Always appreciate it. So, okie dokie. Do we bother training our short blades at all? I don't think we do. It probably is pertinent to get a little bit of training there, but hopefully we can get up to level 2 as quickly as possible here so we at least have access to Scorch. But hey, we'll see how it goes. Oh, of course. Should also probably do all of our usual start of the run routine here, get everything set up. In fact, I'm just realizing I did not get fully set up for starting off today, so I just need to do a little bit of navigation on the side here so that I can access the morgue for our new character here. Oh geez, that notepad is blinding. Light of 1,000 suns. There we go, because we can grab that seed, throw it in here just in case any of you lovely folks are playing along at home. You can see how you fare in the dungeon here. And then let's just jump right to it. Level 1 is going to be the tricky part of this run. So we try not to get overrun by our new friends. As soon as we hit level 2, we will have access to Scorch at least. Oh jeez. If we can survive that long. I don't know why I'm heading off into the unknown, meeting all sorts of new friends. Wonder, can I out-heal a bat? Doesn't really look to be the case, unfortunately. Well, this might be a quick end to the run here. In fact, I don't even want to cast Scorch anymore with how low health we are. I guess what we should have done, probably, is reach out to our good old friend Ignis here. It's probably a little late at this point, but hey, better late than never. Or just about the same. Maybe not that much better. So rough start at things here, but we'll just jump right in from the top here, and let's try to play a little more intelligently this time around, maybe, as well as getting a little lucky never hurts either. We can just get to where we have Scorch online. I'm hoping we'll be fine in the long run here. So that's the dream, that's the plan, and we'll see how it all goes down here. Oh gosh. I always forget, Notepad has weird behavior for where it opens automatically. I think you have to close them all in the new position, something like that. Well, hopefully that prevents the blinding white notepad from showing up in the future, but we'll see how she goes. So already a little bit of a more consistent start here at least, just about at level 2. As long as we beat this kobold, which we do indeed manage to do so. So that is fantastic. And from here we can lean on Scorch a little more heavily, and he'll take care of the majority of our problems, which is fantastic. Dagger of Pain versus my -1 short sword of fire. I'll probably switch over, I guess, even just to get a decent attack speed with our severe lack of training and any kind of martial ability here. That should work out just about perfect. So now that we actually got Scorch online and not only after we were moments away from death, it's looking like we'll be pretty solid, hopefully for the first couple floors of the dungeon. 3 is where we'll have to start crossing our fingers that we got some good spells along the way. I did see that we got slow as our first innate ability here, so don't love that. But hey, it could end up coming in handy for sure. Slow's one of those spells that I only ever really find myself casting on a Djinni, and that's, of course, part of the draw to Djinni in the first place, at least for me, is that it gets me outside of my comfort zone, using some spells and abilities that we never really give the time of day normally. But we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we get something like Yar's Violent Unraveling to go alongside that, at least if we have any intention of relying on slow a bit more predominantly throughout the run, that is. And level 4, not too bad here. So obviously a fire Djinni is an Ifrit, or an Ifrit, not a Djinni, but that's all part of the act. Exactly, we're playing games with nomenclature here. Never know what to expect coming out of this. I guess at the end of the day, you know, I was gonna say we could get spells that aren't at all fire themed, but I guess that doesn't really matter when kind of part of the innate properties of the Djinni is their fire-based, you know, appearance and abilities here. So maybe DCSS has been the one pulling the wool over our eyes this entire time. I can't take any of the credit. Hello, Grinder. 47% chance to slow you. Unfortunately, doesn't work the first time, but second time does go through. And I was just pretty much hoping that that would keep us tied over long enough, even if we got paralyzed, you know, half the attacks coming in. That seems like a pretty solid deal, all things considered. And fortunately, does seem to be going fairly well so far. Hello, my ogre friend. Maybe we'll pop around this corner here real quick and let us immediately fail to cast first and foremost. Perfect. And you know, 67% chance to slow you. Let's do so, and then we can gain a little bit of additional ground here away from our new friends. If I can just rack up the poison as much as I possibly can on our ogre pal, I think in the long run that will do us much needed good here. And not too shabby. We get a poison staff. Very interesting. I mean, not super useful for us, I guess, besides the fact that we got our poisonous vapors, so some loose synergy going on in that regard. But we will most likely still be relying on Scorch for the most part. We get Wereblood as our next ability. Definitely an interesting mix of spells so far. Not what I would have wanted coming into this, especially since starting with Ignis, we don't get a real starting handbook, so we don't get any of those like level 4 spells. What does that even do? I believe we start howling a lot, so we make a lot of noise, and then it's a bit of an aura like status effect. So as you gain kills, you gain slain, I think is how it works. So it's good for kind of snowball-y builds and like very hybrid style builds where you're going to be engaging in a lot of melee combat, which I was hoping going into this wouldn't be something we really have to take into consideration. I was kind of just crossing my fingers that we'd get some killer spells coming our way. Oh, Natasha. Okay, we're a little too close, so I think I will need to take you out once, as much as, you know, we always try our best not to murder our feline friend, if at all possible, but unfortunately needs must, and we will focus on our own survival first and foremost. If this downstairs is dangerous, I may just screw myself over by heading down, but let's give it a shot. Fortunately, it doesn't look too unmanageable, and more importantly, we have a stairwell right here. A different stairwell, I should specify, so we don't need to head back up to Natasha, and we can just leave our kitty friend by their lonesome for now. And that is fantastic. I'll put on a Ring of Intelligence. Should have also put on that Amulet of the Acrobat that we found earlier, so we'll do so now before we inevitably forget again. And that should hopefully tie us over for the time being here. How are we doing for scrolls? A couple of 4 stacks, but it's not too clear where our identify may lie, so we won't rush into anything there quite yet. Hello, my Knoll friends, goodbye. Perfect. It also heals for 1d3 for every enemy that dies adjacent to you. Ooh, see, I wasn't even aware that Rare Blood did that. Don't know if that changed at some point. Honestly, it might have been that way since its inception, because again, it's a spell that I don't really have any experience with. Usually not playing on a character that seems to mesh well with that style. I feel like we picked it up a couple of times on hybrid style characters, and I would tell myself, ooh, this seems like a cool new strategy that we can try out, and then just never ended up casting it throughout the entire journey. So hey, maybe this time around we'll see it perform a little bit further and can actually check out what it can do for us here. Oh, hello, my horsey friend. If we can just pop around here real quick, thank you. And one more level before we get yet another spell at our disposal. It was a little bit risky, just trying to take on that ice beast. Of course, with our vulnerability to cold, we can take just an absurd amount of damage in almost no time. But fortunately, all's well that ends well. The flip side of that is that we also deal ridiculous sums of damage to them, so, you know, at the end of the day, it all kind of works out. And again, it's definitely the most that I've ever used slow prior to now. It's definitely working out pretty well for us. It's at least our go-to anti-ogre strategy for the time being here. So that's not too shabby in its own right. And I'm sure we'll find use cases here or there as we continue forward. I feel like Djinni that I played, it was shortly after Djinni was first released. And I immediately got into a run. I think that I ended up with Slow and Yara's Violent Unraveling. So that was my first time using either of the spells ever. And they very quickly ingratiated themselves into my good graces because we had a pretty solid anti-Hydra technique using those two in combination with one another. As we hit a shaft, so that is great and all. Hopefully we can find our way out of here before too long. At least with our bee friends here, we can kind of just poison them one by one, and because we're immune to poison, we don't really need to have too much concern over the encounter here. Where did our last bee friend go? Ah, there you are. Fantastic. Oh, geez. Definitely some kind of convention going on here. Hello there, my friends. Well, we can just get one poisonous vapors on each of those sons of guns, and the problem will take care of itself. Dang, Amulet of Faith, not what we're looking for. I'm pretty much just hoping that we get an early Amulet of Regen. That's what will kind of catapult our character into the next level here. Oof. And I definitely want to wait out this mark. Do I do it down here, though? I'll probably head up. As long as monsters aren't awake, they won't be drawn to the mark. Usually the alarm trap works off the combination of making an absurdly loud noise, then drawing the attention of the floor. So not too bad when we just have half the equation going into it. And that's fantastic. Ooh, the portcullis is nearby. Let's definitely try to find that Bailey here before we head back up. It can't be too far from where we're standing now. So fortunately, that's a decent indication that we'll be able to make our way down there at some point. Oh, jeez Louise. You know, as long as this two-headed ogre doesn't cause us severe problems. Which, you know, as long as they're slowed, we should be okay. There we go. The Ice Beast goes down. You're no longer slowed. It's only a 38% chance to do so, which is not great, unfortunately. So what can we do here? We could throw an Atropa Dart. Only 3% chance to blind, so never mind. Not really an option for us here. Cause Fear, I can't imagine is gonna do much work against our ogre friend here. At least not a great chance to work out. Causing those affected to be unable to approach the caster. So I'm guessing that's going to be a % chance based on their willpower as well, unfortunately. Yikes, yikes, yikes. So, what options do we have here? Could engage in some fiery armor. That doesn't help much because it means that we will have to take hits in order to dish out damage right back to our friend. Foxfire Swarm does get a pretty ridiculous amount of damage down, especially with the combination of Scorch being in there as well. So that does take care of our new friend. And, okay, we get the message very nearby this way, and there it is. Perfect, so we'll pop into the area here, and some Steamed Eel definitely do the trick. There we go, feel a bit more experience, that's perfect. And we'll probably just do something similar here. Fortunately, we can kind of cheese out this Bailey just a little bit here. Bring all of our friends out to the deep water, and as long as they don't have ranged weapons, we should be totally okay to take care of them in our own time, so that is fantastic. Especially for you, my friend. Jeez Louise. Excuse me. I'm hittable now. Come say hello. Come get me, please, and thank you. Perfect. Well, not too shabby of a start for us here. Oh. What the heck are you, my friend? Did not realize we'd have some kind of invisible son of a gun coming after us. And you know, a kobold demonologist, not that much better, because I'm pretty sure some of the stuff they could bring to bear is going to be sufficient to cause us some pain here. I guess as long as we're off in the middle of the water here, the demonologist is too afraid to approach, so that works out well for us at the end of the day. Just have to be a little bit cognizant of our health. I still have no idea what this invisible enemy is. I feel a bit more experienced. What the heck were you? You were just an orc. Must have had a potion of invisibility or something going on there. And there's our demonologist friend once again, and as long as you just summon things that can't fly or swim, I think we'll get along here. Unfortunately, they do bring out the Tormentor, but it doesn't last quite long enough to cause us too much of a headache, so that is fantastic. And we'll just scorch our way through the rest of our new friends here. No real issues. Gotta love playing an innately flying species and coming across a Bailey this early on. Just fantastic stuff. In fact, I probably should play it safe. I was about to say, we can probably just stand our ground and fight here. Could have come to regret that. I've flip-flopped so much back and forth as to whether it was worth it or not, and did end up, I guess, doing exactly what I was kind of making fun of. But, hey, it all worked out, so who's laughing now?